Chris, why will my student only eat bread and white foods?
It's a really good question. I think a restricted diet, like only eating bread and white foods, is a really common feature for a lot of kids that have autism. But at the same time, despite how common it is, we really want kids that are in our care to have a healthy and balanced diet, or as much of a healthy and balanced diet as we can give them. But I think before we kind of jump in with our strategies or our supports, I think it's important to kind of take a step back and really think about, for this particular child, what are the reasons behind their restricted diet? Because as we know, the autism spectrum is so varied and it can look so different from child to child and person to person that likewise the reasons behind a restricted diet can also be really varied. I guess thinking about this example about breads and white foods, there could be a couple of reasons why this might be the case. It could be related to a sensory preference. A lot of kids on the autism spectrum have a really unique sensory profile. They might be over or under responsive to certain types of sensory input. It might be related to touch, taste, smell, things like that. So within this example, strong flavours and strong smells might be really confronting for a child with autism, and so their preference for soft foods or bland foods or processed foods might be their way of compensating for this. And so an approach that we might use is kind of gradually introducing new foods in a very kind of stepwise fashion. Maybe building their acceptance of having a new food on their plate first before having them try it in very gradual ways. Another potential reason might be a child's insistence on sameness and insistence on a really rigid routine, because we know a lot of kids on the autism spectrum really struggle with change. It can be quite a common feature of autism as well. And so their way of maybe controlling a bit of a scary environment is to have certain types of foods at certain times of day. So maybe our approach in such a scenario as that might be to support the child with a visual schedule and to let them know when a change might be coming up. Just so they know it's one less thing for them to worry about, and they also know exactly kind of what's coming up next. So I guess as we're thinking about it, there can be quite a few reasons why a restricted diet might be in place, and I think that first step of taking a step back and considering it from that particular child's perspective is really important. Thanks for listening.